Okay, so give it a couple of seconds for the water to settle down to the paper, and then we add the paint. Now you want it so that where the dark areas are, that's where the paint goes, and you just dab the paint on. That's all. Let the water take the paint where the water wants it to go. Do some around the edges as well. You don't want anything too strong at the edges, because that's where light is getting to it. You want most of the paint towards the middle of the rose, and towards the base of the rose, which is, or the base of the petal rather. And that will do for that one. You don't want to cover the whole rose in pink, in a uniform pink, because if you did that, you wouldn't be able to see any difference in each petal. So you just want to have a different look to each petal. You don't want it all a uniform wash of pink. So you want a few highlights, you want a few dark areas, you want a few light areas, obviously. So that's one petal done. Now what we can't do is this area, or this area, because that's where we painted already, so we need somewhere that isn't attached to that. It's like a painting by numbers, where you have to do one area at a time. However, with this one, you're not following numbers, you're trying to work away from where you've just painted. So, that being said, we'll choose another area. Let's go here. Let's not go there, because I just realised that goes all the way around and goes on to the previous area. Let's have a look. Where's the best way to go? What's the best way to go? Let's try there, shall we? It's fairly near where we've gone, but it's not actually touching the next area, that area where we've just painted. And with watercolour as well, you'll actually see the pencil marks underneath, so it will show up the shadow. If you don't like that, you can always, there is nothing at all stopping you from rubbing the pencil out after you've painted it. You won't rub it out completely because the paint's covering, but you might be able to just remove enough so it's not overpowering. But because I'm doing this on camera, I want to leave the the pencil marks there, because you'll be able to see where things are going. And as you can see, if you put it on, let the water do the work for you. It's a watercolour after all. And so you don't want paint, even though you're doing a pink rose, you don't want it completely covered in pink. So we just dab. Oops, I do apologise about that. I'll move my palette round so I'm not forever going to be banging onto the what you call it, tripod, like I just did. Right, so we just tap. Tap, 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 tap. We don't do any brush strokes, it's just dabbing. And trying not to fill in every little area with pink. And that's 2 areas done. As you can see, the first area now is drying off, and it's drying a lot paler than it was when I first put it in. Still can't do that area because, as I say, it's still damp. So what I could do now is move on to doing one of the leaves. So I shall show you how that works. We need our Payne's Grey. Ah dear. Once I can open the tube, my fingers aren't working too good today, I'm afraid. I've got our Payne's Grey. And our sap green. I shall show you the paints in a minute, what I'm doing. And yeah, Payne's Grey there, and the sap green, and we just mix some more water. Not mix some more water. What am I talking about? Mixing more water, idiots. Pop some more water into the palette pool there. And you want some sap green in there. Now you can see that's a little bit bright, a little bit vivid. So we touch it up slightly. Not touch it up, we touch a little bit of the Payne's Grey in there. As you can see, that dulls it down. And it doesn't take away any of the green. It just makes it a little bit duller, a little more natural. And bear in mind, when you're doing watercolour, the more water you have, the paler the colour is. So just because it looks dark on the palette doesn't mean to say it's going to be a dark colour. It certainly won't be opaque. You will be able to see through it, which is basically what you want, but at the same time it won't be too pale so that it dries to nothing. So let's do this leaf here, and we just go around. Just go around and follow each area. You don't really have to go with the shape of the leaf, because the water's going to make it spread anyway. So just add the water, make sure the leaf is all soaked, not soaked but wet. You don't want to have too much water on there, but you want just enough. I think I've got just a little bit too much on there, so what I'll do is I'll wait for it to dry a touch before I add any colour. And the way you'll be able to tell is because there'll be a slight, if you look at it from one angle, you'll have a slight sheen up towards the light. So if we wait until it dries down a touch. It's nice and warm in here at the moment because as you can tell I've got a bit of a cold, so feeling cold. I've got the heating on. I've just had the new combi boiler fitted. That was last Wednesday, and the electrician's just been today to finish it off. So I've now got nice warm water out the tap straight away, and I've got nice warm radiators. So we just touch the line there, straight down the middle, and then bring it out towards the edge. You do need to follow it a little bit, but you don't have to have it so that you're doing all the veins. Just do lines going out. That's it. And you actually want a little bit more dark for the stem. So what we'll do is we'll add a touch more Payne's Grey and green into a different well of the palette. So as you can see, just a little darker, and we'll drop that in just to make it look as though it's the stem. Not the stem, what's the thing? The bit that goes straight down through the middle, the mid-centre vein. that attaches the leaf to the stem, you know, that area. I can't remember. And now just add a touch more water, or a touch more paint around the edges so that it doesn't look, it looks a bit more natural. There we go, it does look a bit iffy on camera actually, that. And if we do that, that looks quite pleasing. Okay, that unfortunately the green's pooled at the bottom, so what we can do for that is we dry off our brush, clean it, dry off the brush. Now the brush is dry, we can just touch and that will pull up the paint so it's not it doesn't pool and we don't have any unforeseen problems with it. And I have to just touch that a little bit more with the darker green. Because we've lost some of it. There we go. And that's one of the leaves done. So we've got 2 petals and a leaf done already with it. That second petal I can see a bit of pooling on there, so we'll do exactly the same thing there as we've just done on the leaf. That's better. Now, we can't do an area around here yet, we can't do this petal here, but we can now do that one. So, same again. We use the clean water. This I find very relaxing. Don't know about anybody else. I'd find it even more relaxing if the table wasn't so low and I wasn't standing up and leaning over it. Never mind. So, that's that area filled in. And I know that first area is dry. I nearly said clear. I know that first area that we did was dry, this area here, because it's gone dull. If it wasn't dry, it would be quite shiny. I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference with the wet and dry areas on the camera, but when you come to, if you come to do it yourself, you will see a difference. And depending on what paper you're using as well, so you can get smooth paper, but I always like to use paper with a bit of a texture, bit of a grip, what they call tooth. I always like to have a bit of tooth on my painting, as I say. And what I can do as well is oh, I can't now because I've just done that area. I was going to say what I can do is these little green things that used to cover the bud, called sepals, I don't know, I can't remember. I don't believe he actually passed me biology exams. So this is going to be one that's just going to go on and on and on. It's going to be really relaxing, and it's just the same it's the same process all the way through it, where you wet, add your paint, wet, add your paint. So now you've seen me doing these, I'm going to finish the rows off camera and I'll post some photographs of the final thing, because it's going to take, you've seen 3 petals done and a leaf, you've seen how it works, so there's no real point in carrying on, because as I say, it takes a while to dry, and once it, that second leaf, I think that second petal. No, it's not quite dry. Looks as though it was dried. As I say, it's going to take a while to go through and get this all done, so rather than waste time waiting for paint to dry and carrying on, I'll stop the video now. I'll post up, I'll finish it off and after each stage I'll take a photograph and then I'll have a bit of a slideshow after the video. Okay, so that's it for me for the video. Hopefully you enjoy the photos, the step-by-step photos that I do with it, and I shall see you in the next video. Okay, take care, bye for now.